Explain to the listeners all over the world what the effects of electromagnetic fields are on human health. Let us know in detail why people should be leery about being around this technology and how to protect themselves.
When human body, for example, is exposed to man-made electromagnetic signals, it's actually the living cells of the human body cannot recognize these signals as a friendly signals or natural signals. For this reason, there is built-in natural mechanism of the cells, living cells. They shut down their membrane. It's so-called hardening of the membrane. And these cells actually isolate themselves from the environment. They cannot communicate with each other. They cannot accept water molecules. They cannot accept nutrition. And they cannot remove the waste material from inside the cells. So sooner or later, this type of cell is supposed to go through decline, and they cannot sustain life activity. So because the man-made electromagnetic signals have a stable, so-called coherent amplitude, all the natural signals, they're based on the uncoherent or unstable amplitude nature. So for the last probably 30 years, there was conducted a number of scientific research regarding the effect of man-made EMR electromagnetic radiation on living cell structures and on the human subject in general. So there is a number of research which basically confirm that electromagnetic radiation create unwanted harmful mechanism inside the cells biochemistry. It's interrupt normal biochemistry inside the cells, and it's actually provokes cells to reduce their metabolic activity. For example, one of the mechanisms, as I mentioned before, is so-called hardening of the membrane, cell's membrane, which basically prevents cells from normal life activity, prevents cells from accepting, the nutrition, water, and removal of the toxins from inside the cells. Obviously, these cells cannot survive for a long period of time. I mean, they go through degradation process, and as a result, obviously, the cells are supposed to die. In some cases, this type of effect create a so-called distortion of the DNA structure of the cells. For example, one of the experiments was conducted in vivo in animals by Dr. Henry Lay in Washington University, when he actually exposed rats to the electromagnetic signals of microwave oscillations, which quite closely resemble to the microwave signals of mobile phones. And then they studied the effect of the exposure to this radiation of the animals, of their brain tissue. So what they actually found that this exposure actually leads to the destruction of the DNA structure. So they found it through so-called COMET assay, which was designed by Dr. Henry Lay. And it actually was found that this type of radiation, like mobile phone microwave radiation, create destruction of the DNA. So, which obviously is step number one. Step number two is development of oncology in this case. Actually, it's clear that this type of radiation is more harmful for the children. Why? Because number one, during the growth of the infant, let's say, organism, obviously the development of the brain cells require natural friendly environment. So the exposure of children's brain tissue to the electromagnetic radiation obviously are more damaging. Why? Because the thickness of the skull is less compared with the adult skull. So obviously the electromagnetic radiation penetrates much easier through the children's skull, through the children, and it obviously can penetrate even deeper in the brain system.